Hi, my name is Sarah Catherine Gutierrez. I'm the CEO of Aptus Financial, and I'm very excited to talk to you today about the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, or otherwise known as PSLF, and your specific action to take, which is to certify your employment. Now, before I begin, I want to say who I am and my company and why we're doing this at Baptist Health. So, my company is a financial planning company. And importantly for you, it is a company that is a flat fee firm, meaning we get paid for our time. So we do not sell any form of insurance or investments. And the reason that's important is your employer, Baptist Health, has decided it wants to be able to help all of its employees around student loans, not only for this urgent matter that I'll be discussing with this limited waiver, but on an ongoing basis. And so you will not have to pay for this service. It's being paid by Baptist Health. And you will also not be sold anything. There are no conflicts of interest with you in making really good decisions on your money when you work with us. So we're very excited to be able to help you all with this. And as you know, if you've already gotten the email, we have analyzed your text file and we have determined your best action. And so that is why you've been assigned to this track. So I'm going to go ahead and kick this off by sharing my screen. Okay. So the first thing I want to acknowledge is just how confusing all this is. You may have taken action on PSLF and been denied forgiveness. You've maybe made attempts to do PSLF, but you open up these websites and say, wow, that is a lot more than I bargained for. That's a lot I need to learn. It's really important. I'm going to do it, just not today. And so we understand that this jargon is probably the main reason that people are not taking action. And that is where we come in. We are the ones who know what's going on. We know what all these things mean. We have done this. We have taken action on this with so many different people. And so what we are doing with you is not saying, hey, you need to know everything there is to know about PSLF. Sure, it's great. Knowledge is power. Learn as much as you can. But this is really designed to help you so that you know exactly what actions you need to take, even in the absence of perfect information. So we are here for you. We are here to help. We're here to demystify. Most of all, we are here to help you take action. Now, to that extent, that there's only one thing we ask of you. We ask that you take action. The thing is there is a lot of demand for this right now, especially as this waiver is ending in October. And so we want to make sure that all of these resources and this help is going to the employees who are going to take action. So that is what all we ask of you, is that you move forward and you do these things, even if it might mean waiting on hold with customer service for 2 hours, or having to reset your login. We understand it's all really annoying, but we also know what's on the other end, which is incredible forgiveness that we're going to be talking about. For some people, it'll be immediate. For others, it might be in 5 years, but it's still an amazing, amazing program. Okay. One of the biggest hurdles that we have to get past here is that you might assume that you will always have student loans with you. So we've seen a lot of loan files that might have 40,000 people who might make 40 or $50,000 a year, but have student loan debt that's in the hundreds of thousands. And we get it. You have probably assumed that there is no way I will ever be past this student loan. And, we don't have to toast to a lifetime of student loans with Leo. We can actually show you how someone making $30,000 or $40,000 a year actually has a pathway to maybe making a payment that's only $10 a month, $30 a month, $40 a month. For people who don't make very much money, the payments are very, very low because they're a percentage of your income. And then what that does is it drives all that student loan balance to the end of your 10-year period and then gets wiped away tax-free. That is the vision. So I want you to start by, at minimum, having some kind of hope that this actually will work for you. Because if you have that hope, you will take action, the action that we are asking you to take on. Now, I want to be very careful in how we understand PSLF. Over 97% of people who applied for forgiveness in 2018 were denied forgiveness because they got it wrong. And if you get one thing wrong in this program, you get denied forgiveness. So I want to make sure that we get all on the same page on what the basics have to be in order to get the basics that have to be right in order to ultimately get forgiveness. So first of all, this is a program that allows eligible borrowers to cancel their remaining balance on their direct loans. And say that again, direct loans, after serving full time at a public service organization for at least 10 years or making 120 qualifying monthly payments. And this all has to have happened after October of 2007. Really cool point. When you get your debt canceled, when it goes away in forgiveness, you do not get a tax bill for it. This is tax-free forgiveness. Okay, so let's get a little jargon out of the way. I promise we'll just bite the bullet. Let's just get it done. So first of all, this only applies to federal debt. So direct loans are federal loans. We'll talk about the other kinds of loans. These are the ones that we're talking about here. Now, you might be confused because you can say, well, I don't understand. So these are federal loans, but I'm dealing with Nelnet, Great Lakes, Mohila. Yeah, that's confusing. But just understand that those are servicers that have contracts with the federal government, basically to help collect your student loan payments, keep track of them, and all of that. So those are servicers of these qualified federal loans. So then we have repayment plans. These repayment plans are really confusing because there's a lot of them, but there's only a few that actually work for PSLF. So I'll name a few of the most popular ones: income-based repayment, or IBR, payee, or pay-as-you-earn, repayee, or repay-as-you-earn. Okay, now let's get to private loans. Private loans are loans that maybe you refinanced out of a federal loan into a private loan, not consolidation. I'm talking about refinancing. Those are not eligible. Maybe you didn't take out federal, or maybe you tapped on your federal loans and then had to take additional loans that were private loans. Those private loans are not eligible for PSLF. So we're only talking about federal loans still in the possession of these servicers with the federal government. Finally, we have FFEL loans. These are loans that are federal loans. These were issued a long time ago, or not a long time ago, before 2007, actually maybe 2010. These are older loans, but they used to be eligible for PSLF, but no longer are. And so these loans can be consolidated into a direct loan that is eligible for PSLF. And so these are the main things that you need to be aware of. Now, if you are in track 3, then you have presumably direct loans. Now, if you're in here and you're like, well, I have some of those FFEL loans, then you need to contact us. But we have looked at your loan files and determined that all we could see were these direct loans, meaning that you are well on your way to completing the process actually pretty quickly for determining if you're going to get instant forgiveness or if you're going to get student loan forgiveness in the next 2 years, 4 years, 10 years, whatever it's going to be. Okay, so how does this thing work? Okay, so we already know you work right now for a qualified employer, Baptist Health, but you may have worked for other employers who are also qualified. So you've got to have made 120 payments while working in public service. So your time in public service does not have to be consecutive. It just has to be cumulative. And you had to have the loans overlapping those specific months where you were making payments. So again, you got to have direct loans. I'm going to keep saying this jargon over and over. And then you have to stay enrolled in an income-driven repayment plan. Now, we have also determined that if you're in track 3, that previously, before the COVID forbearance, which took all loans out of repayment, all of the direct loans out of repayment, we determined that before you were in COVID forbearance, that you were already in an income-driven repayment plan. So congratulations on that. So basically, we're just telling you stay in one. And remember, your goal in choosing an income-driven repayment plan and certifying for your new income-driven repayment plan every year, your goal is to always have the lowest payment possible, because the lower your payment, the more loans that will ultimately get forgiven. This is your resource guide. to always remember how this thing works. And so I would recommend having this slide like laminated, put on your bathroom wall, bathroom mirror. Keep this, because this is going to make sure that you stay on track. So first of all, and this is the most important thing for this group of people, we recommend certifying your employment every year. So right now, our job is to certify all your past employment. But let's say you finish that and the government says, congratulations, you have 7 years out of your 10-year total towards your PSLF goal. Well, we recommend that for the next 3 years, keep working where you're working, and make sure that you certify every single year. And this way, if there's ever a mistake or something glitches, it's much easier to catch it in the moment. Now, you don't have to recertify all that past employment, because once you've certified those 7 years, those are your 7 years. So all you're doing then is just adding a year at a time. So the reason we have to certify, it's worth pointing out, is even though the federal government knows from your tax returns that you work for a nonprofit, an eligible institution like Baptist Health, they still want you to tell them. And so you have to actually send in this form that you were working full time for this employer for this period of time. Now, really quickly, let's say that you worked at Baptist Health full time, or you work there full time right now, but you went part time for a little while after working full time. So you've worked on 2 different occasions full time for Baptist Health. So we would recommend in this situation that you have 2 certifications, even though it's the same employer. And because you want to make sure to certify all of these chunks of full-time employment one at a time, just to keep the process as simple as possible and not disrupt your certification process. Okay, so the reason that we are here, the reason that this is absolutely so urgent, is that there is a limited waiver that the government issued in October of 2021 that is going to expire in October of this year. And basically what the government is acknowledging is how confusing this PSLF program has been, and how many people have been denied, even though they were in public service, even though they were making payments. And this is their one window of time, one attempt to fix it. And they have said, once this window closes, it is over. You will, if you didn't get it done, then for a lot of people, that could mean starting over, starting at 0 payments when they could have had all their loans forgiven. They could have had 7 years added to their total. So this is a big deal, folks. And this is why we are urgently here trying to get as many people as possible getting their loans right to benefit from this limited waiver. So basically what the waiver says is, let's say in the past you were making the wrong payments, you had the wrong loan. Let's say that you made a few late payments. That's been possible, like not even by your own fault. They were just processed late and you got a ding and missed those months. The government is going to manually go through your entire payment history and count up all of those payments that were previously ineligible and make them eligible for PSLF, but only if you get your certifications in your case, before October. So this is what we want to accomplish now. We want you to move right away. Remember, the government makes mistakes. We want you to get these certifications in as quickly as possible. So if something needs to get fixed, or maybe a past employer is taking a really long time to get back with you, that you can get this in before that window closes. Okay, so I want to offer a few anecdotes of how this thing works, just for your consideration. So first of all, we have seen some immediate forgiveness. So if you're on the fence about this, and you're like, yeah, I've been paying a long time, this whole program is probably a hoax, I don't know if it's worth my time, just do it. We have had people out of the blue getting forgiveness. We have seen it all through this year. It is unbelievable. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I would not have this sense of urgency. As I've been telling people, this is not one of those save 15% or more on your car insurance moments. This is potentially life-changing financial benefit for so many people. Imagine being out from under your student loan debt. And remember, we do believe that student loans are going to go back into repayment, if not at the end of this year, at early next year. Like, there is literally no sign that this forbearance is going to continue. So you are going to have more of a sense of urgency probably at that time than you have right now while you're not paying in student loans. But I'm here to tell you, like, you will wish you had taken action on this, especially when those loans go back into repayment. And you will want to have been one of these people who, even if you didn't get immediate forgiveness, you got on your path to forgiveness. So we've also seen really unbelievable debt to income cases. So people who might have 2 times their income in student loan debt and assume that they'll never get past it. We have an example of a woman that, yeah, she has 7 years to go on $88,000 in student loan debt. She makes $34,000 a year. But when we estimated her payments, they were only $34 a month. So the interest on her loans, when they go back into repayment, are going to grow faster, is going to grow faster than the payments that she's making. So she'll end up having a lot more than 88,000 probably forgiven after 7 years. So we also have cases where the employee who has the debt might have a lot of debt and not make very much money, but have a spouse who makes money. Like an example here, we had an employee with 52,000 in loans and an income of 83,000, and physician husband who made $250,000. Well, remember, you can, in 1 or 2 of the repayment plans that are eligible for this, the income driven repayment plans, you can actually file your taxes separately and still be eligible for that income driven repayment plan. And this filing separately, we estimate, will be worth over $5,000 in savings from not having to make pretty substantial payments over time, and a pretty nice forgiveness on the other end of this. And also the tricks and tragedies. Folks, if people are calling you about your student loan debt, chances are it's a scam. We are seeing so many scams right now. The only people you should be communicating with are the federal student aid, your servicer, or Aptus Financial, us. We will be emailing you, but we will not be trying to refinance your debt. We will not be trying to get you to do anything other than work with the federal government to be certifying your employment. If you are getting any kind of indication that you need to be doing anything else and it doesn't appear to be with the federal government, you need to be contacting us, because this is likely a scam. Okay, so here is your homework. We simply want you to submit your PSLF form. So for any employer, for any employment you've had since 2007 while having student loans, please remember, this deadline is October the 31st, but don't wait. Do this now. You must certify this employment in order to get benefit from the waiver, by this limited waiver, by October 31st. You need to separately certify all past employment, all employment with 501c3s, with nonprofit hospitals or the government. These are all eligible institutions for PSLF. If you want to be prepared as you're filling out these certifications, you'll need the EIN numbers for all of your past employers. And if you're not sure how to find that, your old W-2s would have that number. And that's the number you use where you search the government database when you're filling out your PSLF form. And then your employer comes up if it's qualified or not qualified right there when you're filling out the form. Now, for Baptist Health, it's a little different. They love these forms. They love helping you with this, and that is why they have made it very easy. So we're talking about the Baptist Health payroll department. These rock stars just want you to fill out the first page of the form. They're actually going to fill out the second page for you, send it back to you, and then you send it in. But you'll need to fill out the first page. So I'm going to point out 2 things that you'll need to know. The first is you're going to have to fill out very normal personal information here. And then second, they're going to ask you to check one of these boxes, and it's going to be the first box or the second box. So if you only have a couple of years into this thing, like you graduated a few years ago, check box number 1. But if you have had your loans for a while and you've been working in public service like Baptist or UAMS, anywhere for a while, check box number 2, because you might be close to forgiveness. Now, if you are currently at MOHELA, if that is your servicer then you have the easiest way to upload your certification forms. So you can simply go to this mohila.com/upload document and upload it right there. If not, we recommend that you send it certified mail, and this is all in your action plan. And so the address to mail it is here. Now, that's if you're with Nelnet, Great Lakes, Fed Loan Servicing. Now, when you send this certification in, that is going to trigger your loans to be moved from wherever they are over to Mohila. And so you'll be dealing during this time with potentially two companies, Mohila and AidVantage, while that goes on. It's just really important for you to be aware of this change. It's very normal and it's a good thing if that happens. Okay, so we want to always remind you that if you have questions, remember that studentaid.gov is the best place for questions on PSLF, learning more about the limited waiver, etc. So when you finish your PSLF form, and we have sent you a PDF version of that form. You should have it in your email inbox. So pull it up, fill out that first page, then send it to payroll@baptist-health.org. And that's right here in the slides. It's also in your loan action plan. And then once they send it back to you and they have a pretty quick turnaround, then you want to upload it, like I mentioned, or send it certified mail. And then look out for any communications from AidVantage or Mohila. For previous qualified employers, for previous 501c3s, government entities that you've worked for, you're going to do a little different process. Instead of taking the PDF certification form, you're actually going to follow a step-by-step online guide at studentaid.gov. So you're going to log in. You're going to go to studentaid.gov/PSLF and use what's called the PSLF help tool. This is all in your action plan, and it's going to take you step by step to search through the qualified employers with the EIN. It's going to help you populate that form, then print it out, and then you are going to send it to your previous employers, to their HR department. Please call them, let them know what you're trying to do here. They should sign off quickly with a wet signature. It cannot be a stamp. If it's a stamp, it'll get rejected. Then you want them to send it back to you, and then you send it to Mohila. So that's the process. Yes, it's cumbersome, but boy, is this process worth it, because every employer that you successfully get to sign this, if you are in repayment during that time with your student loans, though that time is going to be added to your PSLF count. So you need to make sure no employers left behind here. Now, if a former employer is out of business, it was a nonprofit, the government also offers you an option for a workaround, and you will see that when you go and do that PSLF help tool. So a couple deets about PSLF that's just worth knowing. So not everybody's going to benefit from PSLF, and so we recognize that. So if you have a really low loan balance, it's not going to work. If you've been part-time, it's not going to work. But we recommend that everyone pretty much try it at this point. We have tried to filter out people who have really, really low loan balances and are early to the program, to make sure to not waste your time. But we think this is such a big deal for so many different people that we recommend that you go ahead and try, because we think most people with student loans at Baptist Health are going to benefit from this if you take action. So also, every single year, make sure that you stay in the right repayment plan. This is repay, pay, IBR, ICR. Try not to get distracted by some of those other repayment plans. They're not eligible for PSLF, and they could set you back. Also, we do recommend that if you have questions in this along the way, you do your own homework. It's very, very important that you start to get more and more comfortable over time with this. Yes, right now we just want you, take action, take action, take action. But over time, Google things, right? We're going to recommend that you join a Facebook group where there are lots of people that are asking questions and answering them. And it's a great way to learn this stuff with your peers. So here is the group that we recommend joining. You actually have to do a little bit of some educational modules and take a little brief quiz. Worth it. Once you're in that group, you will see the questions you have. There's going to be 100 other people who've asked that same question over the last month. You'll also get inspired every single day, hour after hour now, we are seeing people with forgiveness, going to sleep with $80,000, waking up with a zero balance on their student loans. This is what is happening. So we recommend that you join this group. We are all in it. And it's really that fantastic. So yes, we understand this is all complicated, but your perseverance will pay off. So if you ever lose that perseverance, reach out to us. Tell us where you're getting stuck. Let us help you through it. But for the most part, we just want you to dig in, get it done, and hopefully set yourself up for immediate forgiveness in, or, forgiveness in 2 years, in 5 years, whatever that is. Get this done. I promise your future self will thank you. Everyone, we have office hours. We have group Q&As. We hope that you will take advantage of those. You can find that information. We can email you a list of the upcoming ones over the next 2 weeks. And we will hopefully also be having those posted over time for you to easily access them. So again, from Aptus Financial and from your incredible employer who cares so much about this, Baptist Health, we all wish you best of luck. You've got this.